We link up with the new associate head coach of the program, entering his fourth season, a New Orleans native, and part of the LSU staff as the wide receivers coach. And as we said, new associate head coach is Coach Mickey Joseph here on OTB on this Friday morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing, man? Good morning to y'all.
Yes, sir. That title sounds pretty good. Congratulations, sir.
Hey, I sure appreciate it. My family and I are very, very happy. Like I say, this is home for us, and we enjoy being here at LSU, and I think it's good things to come.
Coach, we talked to Kevin yesterday. You're a New Orleans native. Kevin from Lafayette, Coach Insminger, Coach Bill Johnson's on staff. A lot of Louisiana guys, Coach Orgeron. Now you, as the associate head coach, the pride that goes into that, you guys all being from LSU or Louisiana representing LSU.
Well, you know what? We understand. We understand what LSU means to the people of Louisiana. And when we go out, every game we go out to defend the state. And I think that, being from Louisiana, you got a little bit more pride when you walk out there like, hey, this is what we're about in Louisiana. And the boys been great. Coach O couldn't have done a better job, for what we're doing right now.
Coach, a championship run is so intoxicating, and it consumes the entire state, and the ride was so much fun last year. But as Coach O said earlier this week, you got to kind of start over. That's gone. Do you have to coach against that with your guys? What's the demeanor like in the building, knowing that, yeah, you climbed all the way to the top of the mountain, but now you're on the bottom again looking back up?
Well, you know what? Our kids always come in and come in to grind. Like we always say in the receiver run late, let's get it out the mud. So the kids came back. I think they've been off the field maybe almost a month. They've been off the field since they won the national championship. But they in here working like we went 500 last year. Nobody's worrying about what happened. The national championship, okay, we did it. It's gone now. We got to go out here and we got to defend it. But the kids coming in, they coming in to work every day and just giving us everything they have.
Everybody around that building says JaMarr Chase has maybe matured more than anybody in on that roster. You're with him every day. What do you see from college football's best wide receiver?
Well, with JaMarr, and people don't understand this about the type of kids we get. The type of kids we get, they've been the best player since the age of 5, coming all the way through. They've been the best player on the field. So now when you get here at LSU, we're asking you to play full speed every snap and dominate every snap. But you never had to really extend anything because you've been the best player. So JaMarr had to learn that hey, I got to come in here and I got to play 100% and do everything these people ask me to do and do it the right way, not the JaMarr way. Do it the LSU way, the Coach O way. And I think once he grasps that, it's like a light just went off in his head. And now he's what I thought he would be. Just recruiting him, he was a good kid. He was quiet, but he's always been the best player. And now when he got here, the playing field was even. But now, since he's been brought in, guess what? He don't made it a little bit uneven now.
He was balling last year. Terrace Marshall was the best third wide receiver in the country, but I still think that he's overlooked. Coach, like that, like I'm looking at a lot of service and a lot of people talking about wide receivers in college football to look out for this season, and he's rarely on a list. But he has got as much talent as anybody in that room. What do you expect from Marshall here in year 3?
Well, I tell people this. I say if you first remember the beginning of the season, Terrace was leading the country in receiving in almost every category. I think he had like 10 touchdowns with the first 3 or 4 games. Mm-hmm. When Terrace came out, he was the number 1 receiver in the country. Terrace has a lot of talent. If Terrace don't get hurt, right, I think we have 3 receivers that have 1,000 yards and 18 to 20 touchdowns.
I agree.
Because he's just that good. But he's another kid that come every day. He works his tail off. He's a great kid. He comes from a great family. He's a Louisiana grown kid. But I think Terrace is going to have a great year this year. I think he's hungry. He hears it. That he's not one of the best in the country, and he's got and you can see the fire in him right now.
Is Racy the leader for the 3rd spot, or is there open competition there?
Well, you know what? It's open competition for JaMarr's job. It's open competition for Terrace's job. But yeah, Race, we expecting big things out of Racy. Racy right now, he is our 3rd receiver right now. We have, Trey Palmer. We look at Trey Palmer's a kid that we know is going to come along, Jeray Jenkins, and I'm really impressed with John Trey Kirkland. From the first day he moved to receiver to where he is now. He's in a position now that we think we can put him in a game and he can make some big plays for us. So really, and then you have the three kids coming in with Kayshawn, Coy, and Adam Alex. I think these three kids coming in are really good football players for what we do.
Mickey Joseph here on Off the Bench. Coach, tell me about Scott Linehan.
Hey, man, you couldn't. You know what? I tell him you couldn't be. Coach O. I don't know how he's finding these guys. He brings Brady in here. And bless Brady. Brady. Went on to the Panthers, but now he finds a guy like Scott. And a guy like Scott's a great coach. He's got a wealth of knowledge. It's 25 years of NFL football in his head. The only thing he's doing right now is learning the college game. Before what we do on offense, he understands it. He understands it. He's a great guy, and the boys really enjoy him. And that's one thing I told the boys yesterday. We always can have an NFL guy in our room because that helps us. Mm-hmm. That helps us help them understand where they need to go. But just bringing Scott in is a great addition. He's going to work well with Steve and Minger's been the hero. If you want to, because Minger's been here. Minger, Steve's one of the smartest guys I've ever been around. And Steve bring these guys in and he works well with these guys. But we're happy to have Scott.
I was going to ask you more on Steve Ensminger because Orgeron said here on Tuesday that he's the glue. He's the guy that keeps it all together. But he's so far out of the spotlight. I know that's his style. Behind the scenes, what makes it work so good?
Well, I think just coming in here and Steve kind of took me under his wing. How things are done around here, and one thing I think I'm a lot like Steve. I want to be back in the back. I don't need the spotlight. I'm good with that. My thing is I want to make sure LSU wins. So it don't matter about how it make you feel. I think Steve feels the same way. We do what's best for LSU, and that's what Steve does. But at the end of the day, you're right. Coach is right. Steve is the glue. Steve's the guy that keeps things together and that gets the drive started, and get things going. But Steve's also he does what's best for LSU. So they say, hey, bring a passing game coordinator in here. We had Jerry in here, then Jerry retired. Then we brought Brady in here. Now Brady's gone, brought Scott in here. But Steve hadn't blinked because Steve's the glue, and Steve don't need no credit. He'll tell you, hey, you can take it. I don't need it. And because he knows who he is, but he also knows that he wants LSU to win, and that's kind of the attitude I take around here. Also, like, hey, I don't need any claps. Saying good job because I want to make sure LSU wins.
What was your reaction when Justin ran that time in Indianapolis?
Excuse me?
What was your reaction when Justin Jefferson ran that time at the Combine?
Oh, I called it. Justin, I called it. I told Justin. Everybody was like, he couldn't run. I was like, what y'all mean? I said, have y'all ever seen him get caught from behind?
Seriously?
I said, no, even when DJ Chark ran, I said, DJ's going to run 4.3. And everybody was looking at me like I'm stupid. Well, I'm with these kids every day. And the thing about Justin's full speed, his first 5 steps. People don't know that about him. He's a long strider, but he's full speed his first 5 steps. And when he ran 4.4, everybody was like, look, I'm like, no, I knew he would run that. He came by the other day. He said, you told me I would run 4.4. Yeah. You're going to go train for 5 weeks, and you're explosive and you're a competitor. Here we go. Let's go. And I'm so proud of him, though. I'm so proud of him.
Mickey Joseph, LSU associate head coach, wide receivers coach, joining us here off the bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. You were the #1 recruit in the country. Coach Orgeron said that you have been doing tremendous work out on the recruiting trail. How much do you rely on that? Not bring it up, but how much do you relate back to being in that spot where everybody wanted you when you're maybe going after a guy that may not have been that coveted, but is in that position where they're being highly recruited?
Well, my thing is that I tell them the truth, and I tell them I don't want to have a recruiting relationship with you. I want to have a real relationship with you. So I tell them the truth, and I tell people, this story all the time. The only person told me the truth in recruiting that was just true to their word, was Pete Jenkins. when he was like, "Hey, Mickey, you're not an NFL quarterback. Come to LSU and play cornerback." You know, and I tell people that, and I tell them, you know. So my thing is taking that. It's like just tell these kids the truth. You know, hey, you're going to come to LSU, but you're going to have to compete for a job. You know, you can't just walk in here and just say I'm going to play. No, you got to come here and you got to compete. You know, like I just told the kid yesterday. You think we went 15-0 with no players? He said, well, where are they gone? I'm like, well, there's still kids in that locker room that can play. You know, so I try to be truthful with them, and I try to tell them to be level-headed, but I also tell them this: once recruiting's over, then guess what? Oh, all right, buddy, it's time for you to give me what you need to give me.
Right.
Now you got to play, because some kids don't get past recruiting, and they think, oh no, once the recruiting's over, now you got to show me what you have. And I think the relationship that I have with kids out there, you know, are true relationships, and like I said, you know, I try to have the real relationship with them.
Coach, y'all won every award in 2019. Heisman, Natty, Biletnikoff, Thorpe. I saw where Vic Villarreal and Derek Panamsky got inducted into the St. Bernard Hall of Fame for what y'all accomplished last year. Take me back to real quick before you start tomorrow looking towards next season, just how special 2019 was.
Well, first of all, with Derek and Vic getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, I told them I'm going to be there with a white suit on, an all-white suit, and a white top hat. And I said, and we're gonna party over there.
Screaming Chalmette represent from the back, Coach.
Parish.
Hey, listen to me. You talking about, you know, two stand-up guys,
Yeah.
you know, with Derek Panamsky and Vic. You know, Derek, you know, those two guys are like brothers to me. But you know, we won every award last year. You know, and we understand that. And like, you know, like you said before, it's gone. So now we got to keep going, though. We got to keep going. And I tell people this story, and people don't understand this. When we lost to a good Notre Dame team in the bowl game out in Orlando, you know, when we got back here to Baton Rouge, Coach O said, hey, go back to the second bus and the third bus. Whoever's coming back, whoever's returning, we need to have a team meeting. And when he brought him in there in that team meeting, and it was silent, and he just said, enough is enough. We're going to do things the right way. We're going to have character, and we're going to win football games. We're not going to lose games to people we know we should beat. And from that time on, it happened. We had a couple of people miss curfew that game, but since that game, we have never had a kid miss curfew. Since that game, and when he said enough is enough, it was like he was talking to his kids. You know, enough is enough. You know, and our kids understand we LSU. You know, we can't. You know, we win here. That's what we do. So when people say, "Oh, y'all won a national championship," you know, I'm surprised. Well, we wasn't surprised because we knew what we worked for, and we knew we had talent in the building. And at the end of the day, we're LSU.
Mick, y'all got them hot, man. Keep them rolling. We'll see you tomorrow on the field. Thanks for the time this morning. Congratulations on the promotion.
Hey, appreciate you guys, and go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There he is, Coach Mickey Joseph.